is derived from the leaves of the coca plant. When cocaine enters the body, it has a strong effect on body functions by acting as an irritant on the brain. Large overdose of cocaine causes convulsions, then death. Cocaine causes unusual and often unpredictable feelings and actions. In his ignorance, Marty took that dare, little knowing the eventual horror that lay in the deadly white powder.
Marty, have you seen the painting shears I bought last week? Can't seem to find them anywhere. Marty, you don't seem right. I'm worried about you. There's something wrong. I'm going to take you down to Dr. Reaper this afternoon for a checkup.
No, I'm all right.
As his body gradually built up a tolerance, he needed more and more of the drug.
Okay. Ooh, that music is so fire. That is Ganymede. And actually, I'm gonna post. It's he's on Bandcamp. His music. He just released this album, and I like the little audio in the song. It's relevant. It's relevant in the world of recovery. Okay, you are listening to Kiss Recovery 101. This is Bridge Sky. I am the host tonight. It is Sunday, 8 p.m. It is a live show. That's right. It's live for a reason. So if you're listening right now, I encourage you comments, questions, viewpoints. Oh, looks like this is beautiful. I already have a comment for this special guest sitting next to me. Tanya says, Katie, I can't wait to hear what you have to say and support you and your journey. I love you. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, she just gave away who the guest is. Okay, so guest, well, why don't I go ahead and just read what I posted out there, and then I'm going to give you the mic, and we're going to talk about. I'm just so excited for this topic. But so 6 months, 3 years, 15 years, 20 years, a lot of long-term recovery. Why do leaders that seem strong, confident, and are inspiring mentors in the recovery community go back out to reuse? Hurt, confusion, and fear sets in quickly. How do those of us with less time stay on the path now? How can we keep from losing hope or faith and letting in the what ifs, negative stinking thinking come into play? If they can't do it, why should I? Forward. Finding the core of purpose and intention within yourself. 54321. Keeping it simple is the foundation to finding meaning in life, but more importantly, not forgetting your why. So I don't know if anyone's heard this before, but I did the peer recovery support. I'm a peer recovery specialist, certified, and I did the week training, and we spent a good amount of time writing out our whys. Your why, right? Your reason. And it was emotional. We all shared ours, and it made sense. And I wondered why I didn't do this in school, and why we should teach this in school. We should teach this in school. Why do anything, let alone want recovery? So anyway, someone who's very inspirational to me. This person I've been following and definitely watching. I just love her. She has always been an inspiration to me. She's just like this light, this ball of light anywhere she goes. Like I know now. I know in the beginning she did not see me. I was quiet, antisocial person, but I was definitely one of those people sitting back, just watching her, wanting what she had, and the fact that we're human, right? And I know myself, I lost how many times, the count of how many times I went back out and reused, and but I didn't just come back. I stayed gone and hidden in my shame for a long time. But then I saw this beautiful person next to me out there doing her thing, like it was so empowering, and it gave me hope when I didn't have any. So guess I rambled on enough, and you obviously already have listeners wanting to listen to you, so I'm going to stop talking. So you want to introduce yourself, and yeah, anything you want to just tell us about yourself, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Thank you, Bridge. And I did see you at the very beginning. I remember the first time I met you. You also have a very bright light. Um, Thank you for all your kind words. Yeah, like you were talking about me sharing my story,
What's your
and
name?
I'm Katie Schwartz.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, I'm an alcoholic and an addict of many sorts. Um, so when I first got clean in 2016, I started sharing my story on social media, and it at the risk of sounding crazy, I'll say that's when I started like receiving my powers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when we help people, God gives us powers. And the more I shared, the more motivation I got, the more I was um, able to grow for myself and inspire others to grow as well.
I would definitely say you've been one of the pioneers. Before, like, now you can go on, and social media is what it is. There was no TikTok though back then. There was, it was mostly Facebook. So like you're one of the people that was sharing and open with your life, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I can remember, the first thing I posted was when I said, when you do good things happen 4 months clean and sober. And somebody had commented, what an inspiration. And to me, that was the highest compliment ever. Like, if I could be doing something to help myself grow and making other people want to make themselves grow, um, that just it really set me on fire. So I've shared with my recovery from drugs and alcohol. I've shared with weight loss, quitting smoking, you know, practicing celibacy, all these different things uh, that I have done, and I've fallen off of all of them as well,
Mhm.
and shared that as well, because there are people that have great consistency, but the general population does not.
Correct. Correct. And here's what I find very just so beautiful and graceful. So I actually, ooh, how long ago was that? About a year ago, brought two of my sponsees. You were sharing your story. It was all women
Mhm.
at a church. And you shared your story, and it was just so powerful and beautiful. And then I just love that you share even when you're struggling, or even when you started to, go back into off the path, we'll say. Um, but here's what's the best part is I loved that you shared right when you got back onto the path again, which was really quickly, I would say, compared to, well, myself. Let's just keep it to myself, okay? But I love that you're just out there with it, because I gotta tell you, I've never been like that. I don't know what I would be like, but that gives me hope, because now where I sit today, I've had dreams where went back out, and in my we'll say nightmare, my first thought waking up was like, how am I going to tell my sponsees? How am I going to tell? What's going to happen when everybody finds out? They're all going to relapse too. And of course, it took me a few minutes, and I realized, thank God, it was just a nightmare. But I love that you give me hope, because I know, because of watching you, if something like that happens for me, because I am human, okay? I'm not going to live in this la la land that it might not ever happen. um I can see myself not hiding anymore, because I know for me that's a death sentence for me if I go back out to isolate in my shame, and I might not come back. And so I love that you are back. So can you, if you don't mind, like I said, only share what you feel comfortable. So where are you at now? What happened on your most recent escapade, and how the hell did you find your way back here?
Well, so you had asked me earlier one sentence to describe why I relapsed, and it was like I had slipped so many times that I had to just go fall flat on my face completely to actually pick myself back up. In the 6 years I had spent in long term recovery without, I mean, longest I had was 2 years. I think like smoked some weed the day before my 2 years, and then like 9 months later I drank, and like 6 months after that I did coke, and my relapse just progressively started getting worse. But I always went to a meeting the next day. It was like a 1 day thing. And, and then I would get the 60, 90, 30, 60, 90 day key tags. And I was just like, oh, I was just cringing. And, so when I went back out at the end of last October and stayed out for a good 9, 10 months, it brought me to a place where now I am so proud and so excited when I get those 30, 60, 90s. And now I stand with a little over 100 days clean.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah. And while I do have some issues accepting where I'm at, I was just at church before I came here, which was just such a great decision to do because the pastor was talking about, God's not done yet and the best is yet to come. When I relapsed, I was on fire. I just sometimes I make the mistake of looking at where I was at and like asking myself, how could I have fallen? I was in Bible school to become a pastor. I was running a food shelf. I was living in complete gratitude, service, and abundance. Like I had reached a level of enlightenment that I feel like some people study their whole lives and reach.
Mm-hmm.
And then bringing in methamphetamine, which I consider, and many people do, the devil's drug, obviously put me back into a deep slumber that I have not, completely woken up from yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've talked about that, about wanting to get back to there, and I had one person say, "Well, why do you want to get back there? You relapsed there," and so that made a lot of sense. And I do know there's a reason for everything. I know that there's a lot of purpose between in all the events of all of our lives, and so I try to focus on that no matter how hard it gets, because it does get hard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I know the best is yet to come, and there's a reason for everything. So I'm doing things differently, things that were told from the beginning to do, such as working the steps with a sponsor. And it's not like ever against the steps or anything like that. It was um I was satisfied with fellowship and gratitude for a long time, and then I said, when that stops working, um I'll do something different. And then I'd get a new sponsor, and then I'd relapse, and then I'd get a new sponsor, and then I'd start the first 160. For the first time I started the first 164 was actually in this room.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah. And but I was working 50 hours I was working 50 hours, and I was a single parent again for the first time. And I kept pushing those steps to the side, and I kept, whatever. But my sponsor set a date for me to do my fifth steps, and it's next Saturday.
Oh goodness. Okay.
Yeah. So moving right along, I've started therapy. I am not trying to fill a hole that I always tried to fill with so many different things. And like we were just talking about, I just found out that I have ADHD severely, and that has like put so much stuff into perspective with what I can do with my life. Like I had put so many limits on my goals and my potential, because I had never finished anything in my life, and um I couldn't remember things when I read them, and I'm like, so I can't go back to school, I can't do that. And it's like, I have so much goodness in me, and I will, like, there's not enough hours a day for all the good I want to do. Um, but now I know that there's an obstacle that I have to go around, but it's possible. So, um, I'm in treatment at the Twin Cities Wellness Center and Recovery Gym, and I plan on graduating in early February. And I'm waiting till then to start setting my goals and see what I want to be when I grow up.
Mm-hmm.
But but I now know that the sky is the limit with that, because I just have a few more barriers to go around. But
Mm-hmm.
what have I been doing my whole life?
Right. Well, okay. And see, now, okay, you just said a lot of things that I could go off of, but definitely the ADHD, right?
Yeah.
Like you, I was undiagnosed until the age of 39. Okay. And my therapist was like, "Hey, Bridge, have you thought about getting tested for ADHD?" I'm like, "What? No, that's silly. I'm just a busy person. And not even physically, it was all mentally, and nobody had ever even said that to me before. And I remember going, sure, I'll go get tested. Like, this is silly. Like, I thought, and then I took the test. I'm like, there's nothing in here that's going to say that. And when I came back, they're like, I was like, well, do you mean that it's more like, minor cases of ADHD? They're like, well, how about we'll say moderate? Definitely not mild though. Um, it felt this like wonderful like relief of like justification, like validation. Okay, so like you were just saying, it's not that I can't finish anything, or it's not that I'm not capable. Like my brain is set up to, want to go, go, go. And a lot of females get undiagnosed and get quickly actually misdiagnosed with severe, well, depression and anxiety goes into severe depression. And that's very common, especially when I had undiagnosed. But females tend to get in childhood, it's not seen in girls because we're more, oh, she's an overachiever, oh, she's a really creative, energetic person, instead of boys where it's really clear like that's what that is. So for me, finally getting that diagnosis like calmed my spirit in a sense of, oh, so I'm not as fucked up for no reason as I thought. And that explains to me why I was self-medicating for so long, because I wasn't properly, but again, I was my own worst enemy. I wasn't being honest about things. And I, growing up the way I did, I will never like openly, I would always just take on the world, like, oh, it's not that bad. Oh, this is not that bad. So just like my ADHD, oh, this is something I can fix myself. It's not that bad. But what it ends up being, where the ditches that I got myself into, yeah, it's pretty bad. So, okay. So now, if this is your first time listening to KISS is a fun acronym. Okay, familiar with KISS?
I am.
What does it mean?
It means keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it simple, stupid. So, keep it simple is very well known. But when I first heard the stupid part, at first I was like, "Ooh, that's mean." But then I realized, yes, that was me. I'm very overcomplicated person sometimes. I overthink, overanalyze, and I realized that made me feel stupid. And it helped me humble myself. And then the recovery 101. So for me, I really do like researching and getting all the knowledge, but more so, I've found that I've been finding so much fulfillment in taking these big concepts, these big books I'm reading, and really simplifying it. So I've been reading Atomic Habits, right? Like I literally have a conversation with my friend today. I'm like, so here's the main points. I've literally 3 sentences. You don't even need to read the book. So here you go. Here's what the difference between goals and systems, and boom, it's a habit, a healthy habit. So, but that's the show. The show is, we're going to talk about whatever topics we talk about, but we're going to keep it simple. Now, there's some fun alarms. So it's about an hour. I'm going to have a couple alarms going off to remind us, anyone listening, go ahead and interact. I see nobody's interacting. That's okay. It's a cold Sunday evening. The nice thing is this is recorded. So you can catch it. Anybody can catch it again later on YouTube. But we have a fun segment. Well, I say fun. I find it fun. But it's called the hot seat. And that's just because I'm going to ask you 3 hotter, heavier questions that are more deeper questions, and that's what I love about our recovery community is we have those deeper conversations. And it's just going to be live on the air. Okay. And then the last segment is totally for fun. But honestly, a lot of the memes I think I share this week, uh, but it's called live Facebook memes. And I'm going to flash you and the listeners just memes for whatever reason. I love that sound effect. I like to meme through the week, and then we're gonna share it to talk about. And like Facebook Live, Facebook though, you're gonna thumbs up, hearts, laugh out loud, and you're free to comment. Okay, so it's just nice to share that little joy in my life, because usually it's though I don't know how late at night. And I'm looking at these memes and there's nobody there to share them with me. I'm single, Katie. My kids are sleeping, so I don't really want to get in on that. So, okay. So now, is there any final thing? Why don't you give a plug or shout out to where you're at? Now that's isn't that a newer place?
Yeah, so Twin Cities Wellness Center and Recovery Gym, who was
It's
started
a
by
gym.
yes, it's a gym. It was started by Crystal Hover. And they actually incorporate fitness right into our treatment plan,
Love that.
which is huge because like when I was an inpatient, I swear we were like fed 6,000 calories a day and no exercise,
Yeah.
you know. And exercise fitness has also been, one of my passions in the past that I've cared about and that I've not been very consistent with. But when I am, I'm like on fire about it. You know what I mean? But so fitness is so important for recovery for so many reasons, for mental health, also, for people that do suffer from depression, anxiety, ADHD, and many others. It,
There's our first alarm.
it
Do you like it?
yeah, it is a good one. You're right. um, it helps with confidence. It helps with, when I get up and go to the gym in the morning, it sets the tone for my day. It's like, oh, I got up and I accomplished something already, and even if I'll go in there and I'll meet myself where I'm at. If I can only, go on the Stairmaster for 20 minutes or go on the treadmill for 45 minutes, or if I go in there and sit in the freaking hydro bed,
Yep.
it's getting me through the doors and setting up a routine for me.
Mhm.
But so at the gym, they incorporate fitness. They're teaching us about nutrition. They teach us about, heart disease, and it's not just addiction and mental health. They're trying to set people up for success in becoming a productive member of society, because in the books it talks about returning to being a productive member of society. Well, these days there's like a whole generation of people that were never taught in the first place, that are raised
Right.
by alcoholics and addicts.
Mhm.
So it's really like the dream treatment center. The day I got my intake, they were skydiving.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you get they pay for a recovery tattoo when you're done, when you graduate.
Oh my gosh.
We have like a community meal, we have shout outs. The support there is just amazing. My my close group, like we have, the different groups, and the group that I spend all the time with is just, we're so close, and it's like setting up like potentially these lifelong bonds from treatment,
Yes.
and which in treatment, everybody always says that. I always, like, when I graduated inpatient, I was like, it's for, you meet everybody for either a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
Mhm.
And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and that is a lot of the case a lot of times in treatment. But just the bonds that were set up to be created here are just, it's amazing, and very beautiful. Yeah, I don't want to say anything too soon, because it's like I said, it's like I want to just do everything good all the time, but I feel like it's inspiring me to want to go to school to be a drug counselor, because I want to work there, because it's that inspiring. You know what I mean? And I've heard that in the past. People have said that to me, that in the past, that I should do that, that I would be really good at it, and I agree. But this is giving me like an inspiration to want to do that. But like I said, I'm not going to decide what I'm going to be when I grow up after I graduate, one step at a time.
Yes. Okay. And you just nailed it. Like, so this atomic habits thing, right? So, Katie, I don't exercise. I suck at it. I don't like it. I mean, the only kind of exercise I've ever liked is like playing sports, or I don't even like doing that anymore. But this atomic habits thing. So, of course, one of the two like main things that we really need to be healthy just in general is sleep. Okay. And that's something I'm still working on, because I realize I don't get enough sleep. And that's crucial for our body to align with our mind and spirit. But exercise. And
Yes,
so
our bodies are meant to move.
yes, and especially this time of year, I don't want to do it. I don't even want to leave my house. But the Atomic Habits talks about what you just talked about, right? So I like the idea of yoga. I used to do yoga. It was great. I just can't seem to get myself in that mode. So I've been reading this Atomic Habits, and really what it says is starting that routine, you say, that ritual of literally laying out the mat the night before, because that just doing that, getting my brain into that mode, so then when I wake up, I see the mat. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to do that. But like going to the gym and just sitting or just getting your ass to the gym, just starting to align your brain, because that's neuroplasticity. I needed more than the steps. Okay. I needed more than fellowship. I needed more than a spiritual program. I needed science facts to understand why I was the way I was. And so when I really got to understand that I can change my brain, I can change a path in my brain, it gave me like actual substantial tangible hope. And I didn't, I was doing the things for a while. I'm like, there's not feel nothing different. But when it started to really happen over time, I became a believer. And so I love that. Like just day by day, 24 hours, those annoying things you hear over and over make sense later on, So just put, okay. So this clip. So what would you say? You said different things. What's like the main different thing you would say that you do maybe every day, this time around that you feel is different than you've done before?
Okay, well, first of all, I
I'll get the
really
clip
hate
ready.
that saying this time around.
Right? Sorry. Last time.
Because it's all been one journey. It really has one messed up, beautiful journey.
Yes.
But one thing I'm doing every day, I'm doing a lot of things every day, but it's
Yeah.
really not. It's like I said, not filling that hole with like when last time. Last time I got sober,
Yeah.
and I didn't date for 2 years, but I was still talking to many guys, just to fill that void, to fill that
Yes.
hole. Um, food. It's really about not doing one thing and keeping it to fill that God-sized hole and um, leaning more into my faith every day
Yeah.
and turning it over to a higher power every day.
100%. And I would agree. I think one of the things that I've done that I do every night is, people want to call it the step 10. But really for me, where I sit now is just to check in with my higher power every night, reviewing my day. And in the Atomic Habits book, which is so funny, like these normies write these books and all this. We got this program, like I've been knowing about this anyway. I should make $1 million. But really, it's the number one thing that he points out in the book is like before you can even get to that point is that awareness. You gotta be able to see those things. And the only way I see those things is like on a daily basis. My mind's all over the place every day. I do so much. Like someone will be like, "Oh, you did that? Or did you do that?" I'm thinking, "Oh, it was a couple days ago. Oh, no shit, that was this morning." Like So yeah, just but that awareness. And for me, I've been also doing the recovery dharma, so into the Buddhists. And what one thing that I love that they say is, this is the moment we're going to sit with that uncomfortableness, that for me awkwardness, sit in those uncomfortable feelings. And for me that's that awareness piece, right? So why do I feel this right now, especially when I'm icky, sitting and going, why am I having these thoughts? Why do I feel like this right now? Instead of what I normally do is distract myself. And I would, and on the flip side, I've gone on 3 years. I would distract myself with positive things, lots of service and lots of helping everybody else. So at the end of the day, what I wasn't doing was filling my own cup and servicing myself. So this is how I did it. I remember those days. I wouldn't talk to anybody. I had extreme social anxiety. I would literally walk into meetings and if it wasn't popcorn style, because popcorn style, you share, that means it can bounce around. I'm like, oh, wait, I don't have to share. But if they would go around the room and you still had the option to pass, my heart started going, I started shaking. And I'm like, I'm going to have to say pass. So it sounds so bad. But this woman, she changed my life, Mel Robbins. So I'm going to share just a couple minutes. But if you go on YouTube right now, it's I love this channel. It's Motivation Arc. They just clip together all the most inspiring things. But I'm going to play it. And I encourage you to listen to the whole 11 minutes. I'm only going to play 3 minutes, but it's called the 5-second rule. And really, what it does is it trained my brain to stop hesitating, to stop, you know, talking myself out of anything. And I remember after trying this, actually practicing this, I started to say, okay, no matter what, I'm going to share something. I'm not going to pass. Then I stepped up the game to, okay, no matter what now, even if it's popcorn style, I'm going to share something, even if it's only 2 sentences. But it grew to where I sit now. I got a podcast every week and I'm on 2 radio shows, so like This works. So if you want to be where I sit today, try this. Okay, here we go. Pro tips.
In the scheme of life, hitting the snooze button is not that big of a deal. But here's the thing about life. None of us wake up and say, today is the day I destroy my life. What we do is we kind of check out because it feels overwhelming, or we check out because we're afraid, or we check out because we start listening to self-doubt, and then we make these teeny tiny decisions all day long. We don't even realize it. Decision to not get up on time, a decision to not eat the right thing, a decision to snap at your kids, a decision to not speak in a meeting, a decision to not for a job, a decision to not deal with your finances, a decision to not call your parent, like whatever it is. All day long, these tiny decisions that take you so far off track. And then you wake up like I did and you look at your life and you think, how the hell did I get here? And more importantly, how do I get back over there? And you have no idea. You get trapped in what I call the knowledge action gap. You know what to do, but you can't seem to make yourself do it, right? I mean, every one of us is one Google search away from a list of instructions that if you follow any of them, it will change your life. But how do you get out of your head and stop thinking about what you need to do and actually do it? Instead of isolating yourself, pick up the phone and call a friend. Get yourself out into the woods and go for a walk. Start running again. Like all these little things that I was capable of, but I couldn't get out of here. Could not get out of here. And if you're stuck, that's the problem. The problem is you're in your head, you're thinking. When you set goals, when you have an intention on something that you want to change about your life, your brain helps you. What it does is it opens up a checklist. And then your brain goes to work trying to remind you of that intention that you set. And it's really important to develop the skill. And I say that word purposefully, the skill of knowing how to hear that inner wisdom and that intention kicking in and leaning into it quickly. And I think most people that are miserable or that are really like dying to be great and dying to have more, we want to change. We want to live a better life. We want to create more for our families. We want to be happier. The desire is there. Again, it's about how do you go from knowledge to action. So the first thing in this story that's important is realizing the answer was in me. Every human being has a 5-second window, might even be shorter for you. You have about a 5-second window in which you can move from idea to action before your brain kicks into full gear and sabotages any change in behavior. Because remember, your brain is wired to stop you from doing things that are uncomfortable or uncertain or scary. It's your job to learn how to move from those ideas that could change everything into acting on them. Because when you...
Okay. I'm going to stop it right there. But literally, to sum it up, is she says, so what I would do is, especially when I remember first being asked to go share my story at treatment center, immediately, old me, my heart starts racing. But I go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, I'll do it. Oh, fuck. I just started saying yes before my brain was like, here's the reason you shouldn't do that, Bridge.
Wow.
Yeah. Because you get shaky and say stupid things. People's gonna, I would down immediately within 5 seconds, I'm talking myself out of why I can't do it.
Yes.
So I just started saying yes, so it works, but practicing it, and definitely it tested a lot of my anxiety because, of course, right after I'm like, anxiety that whatever 5 days later it's supposed to be, it was 5 days of hell.
I really love
Would
that.
you? Yeah. Would you share what you thought about anything stood out?
Well, it's just also relatable, we do have, or me, I have these ideas and just sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly talk myself out of my ability to follow through with those ideas. And
I would definitely say, okay, so when I mentor Okay, I don't restrict myself to doing that much now, just guiding women through the steps. I like to open it up to a wealth of recovery. But no matter what, my number one rule is don't hesitate. That's actually my only rule. And I keep it real simple. And a lot of times they're like, well, what do you mean by don't hesitate? That's a weird rule. And I mean, don't hesitate. So if it pops in your head, hey, I should call Bridge on this, whether it's a little thing or a big thing, whether it's something bad or good, if it comes into your head to call me or text me or whatever, do it. Don't think about it because what I'm thinking is it gets them into that mode of contacting me and they could see like, yes, I want you to. Because my biggest problem was I thought it was a burden. I thought I was bugging everybody. I thought, oh, this is, and especially the things, like I was so isolated and alone in my shame that I didn't even want to share good things. I was not used to sharing my life with anyone. So just getting that element. I don't know if you heard this, Katie, but there was something that happened during the clip. I don't know if anybody else heard, but it was the hot seat alarm, Katie. Oh, I didn't forget. And my brain would forget. Luckily, nope. I have the. So does that sound like fire? It took me a while to find the sound effect. It's very frustrating. But yes, it is hot seat time. 3 questions. Are you ready?
Oh.
Okay.
Ready as I'll ever be? Oh, wait, I'm not going to hesitate. Yes.
Yes, there you go. Oh, you just worked that in perfectly. Yes. Okay. And the best part is, only answer how you feel comfortable. I've thought of questions that I thought were like, well, this is a lighter one, and somebody started crying. So I'm like, oh shit. And then ones that I'm like, ooh, this is gonna be a heavy, deep one. They start talking about some movie they saw, something happen. I'm like, oh man. So I never know where it goes, but I did write these questions, and I did make a point. I hope the first one to just be kind of more lighter. So, Katie, are you ready? Question number 1.
I am ready.
Okay. Hot seat question number 1, Katie. What makes you feel like a quote unquote whole person? So it could be person, places, things. What makes you feel whole when you feel more whole or fulfilled, would you say? Like Brene Brown talks about, those people that are wholehearted people. They've never really experienced us, like our lives of that emptiness. For me, I definitely call it the dark spot, and my dark spot has to be filled on a regular basis. So when you feel like you don't, when you feel fulfilled and you're in that mode of like just some peace and serenity, like what makes you, do you think makes you feel like, oh, I really feel like on point right now. I really feel whole.
I would say it's definitely when I'm out in nature.
Mm.
I love the river. I love the North Shore. Any water, bodies of water. I am just so calm and nature dependent instead of codependent on people. Which I work, another thing that I'm doing now, I'm working through the codependency thing. But whenever I am out in nature and appreciating my higher powers, creation and beauty, and feeling how much a part of that I am, really, really brings me whole. And sometimes I'll throw some worship music on it, listen to the nature itself, and then I can throw on some worship music or any feel good music and dance by myself. When I went into sober living when I got out of inpatient in September, and that was a whole like aha in itself to put myself in position to do that. But I was placed in a house right across the street from a path down to the river, and so I got to go down there every morning and watch the sunrise and let myself feel to be a part of that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. That was beautiful.
Aww.
And actually one of the I'm on this new thing where the Japanese have been following their culture, and one of the things they do that I'm going to try to start doing, means I have to get up earlier, is they get up every morning. At least the older generations still do it. They get up before the sun, so that they can when the sun rises, they can give their gratitude for that day to the sun. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
But nature, we forget how much we're not meant to be in the cities and all around all the hustle and bustle. Like, we're meant to be in nature.
Absolutely. Then that was, one of the gifts that 2020 gave me. I was going way too fast and not spending time in nature, just like, the rest of the world. And I did not spend one day in my house during the pandemic. I started going hiking, and
Mm.
that's where a lot of my spiritual awakenings began.
Yes. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
So that was an easier question, wouldn't you say? Question number 2, Katie. Okay, get ready. This is a bigger one, I thought. Who can hurt you the most? And you can't say yourself, because that was my first thought. Yep. Who outside of yourself? Because definitely I beat myself up all the time. Who would you say can hurt you the most?
Um, that is a hard one. I usually don't let other people's opinion on me affect me. It would have to be my kids, I guess. Um, and that's probably because I internalize a lot of things about, you know, when they were younger and I was deep in my active addiction, I was probably more present than I was in my recovery. And after I had lost temporary custody of them for, it was about 8 months. I did a lot of parenting out of guilt and stuff in recovery. And plus, like I had mentioned earlier, being a single mom for the first time in a while and working 50 hours a week and spending so much time in recovery, our relationships suffered. And they're very supportive. They're great kids. Like, I could not ask for better children. But if that would have to be the answer is them, and I don't know if it's happened, but they're the only ones whose opinion that I think would be that would hurt. Yeah. And I don't think it's happened.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's my answer too.
Is that
And here's what's interesting. Okay, so we had a pre-conversation. Guess what I just realized? I had a flashback. When you said that, like, you connected to with your kids in your use. Okay, so this goes back to now I can see it clear as day, the ADHD thing. So this is I've never said this openly before, but I would use and drink right about bedtimes, right? And so I would spend time like just when I'd be buzzed up, right? Reading them stories, bedtime stories, playing games, like, oh my god, it makes me want to cry. But like now I could see it, like, why. Okay, most people, I would say, would think that's so messed up, right? But now I could see clearly, like, I have ADHD, right? So for me to sit still and like just be present in the moment back then, I didn't know how to do that, right? And so for me, I mean, I wasn't lost in my shit for like 17 years, but I have a lot of memories, like my kids, especially the older ones. I didn't have a lot of consequence. There's not a lot of bad things that they remember, because a lot of the time I would make a family dinner, cooking, like I kept the house clean for a lot. Like I would use drugs and alcohol just to be present and really in the moment. And it's still a struggle for me. I tell you, like, okay, this is so bad. I'll tell you now, on the flip side, what I do now is this is bad. I go to food, okay? So I like right now I love the Impossible Whopper. So I get my Impossible Whoppers, I lay in my bed with my little ones, we watch TV, and I hang out with them. It's like the only way I can do it without wanting to run around and do other shit. Is to be in the moment, is to be eating some good ass food in the bed. Oh, it sounds so slovenly, but it's the truth, because otherwise I'm just a mover, a thinker, and like it's really hard for me to just be in the moment. So for me, again, with that science stuff, DBT also was a piece that helped me change my, like, the 5 4 3 2 1 only went so far. I needed way more skills to get myself to be in the present moment. Okay. Question number 3. Sorry, moving along. Katie, when you made the choice to reuse, okay, when you made that choice, what was the biggest lie or lies that you told yourself? What would you say that was?
um I think there's so many. I think that I just wasn't even recognizing, and I don't even know if I would be able to recognize them today. I know that I was so comfortable with my shitty decisions because I was just masking it with the drugs and the sex and everything else. The only time I would feel any remorse is when I would walk into church.
Mm.
And I would walk into church and worship music would come on and I would bawl and I would have to leave.
Mm.
Other than that, I mean, because that whole time I was out there, I didn't go a day without using, and I didn't really come down the whole time until I put myself in detox. I mean, I slept and I ate and everything. Drugs aren't what they used to be.
Oh, yeah. It's true.
But I was very, very, very numb. So I guess the lie that I told myself is that I could pick up my recovery where I'd left off at any time.
Mm.
And that was very untrue. Like, I came out about my use on social media and I started going to meetings. I said, I'm going to go to meetings.
Okay. We're doing great.
I'm going to go to meetings every day for a week. And I thought I'd just be able to grasp what I had,
Mhm.
and I'd go in there and I'd be like, hi, my name's Katie. I've been using, but I just want this back, and what they say is true about the only requirement is the desire to stop using, because I was wrapped in love in those meetings, and then so the next thing was, well, if I can't quit, I'm just gonna go to detox. And then I went to detox and tried to go to meetings, and no.
Yeah.
And I had to do the whole 9 yards. I had to go to inpatient, I had to go to sober living, outpatient, and I thought I would be able to just pick up right where I left off, and that was definitely not the case.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, that's really deep, and that's really great. I've never even thought to put that into words, and that totally describes. I would say that that is why I needed the brain scans. So, like the second treatment I went to, they actually showed brain scans, right, of what it looks like, and for me to see like what I've envisioned my brain looked like, because I remember I would lie to myself, like I drink or use because I want to, right? Like this is my choice, okay, and I'm gonna do what I want to do, especially when everyone was telling me I couldn't. I'm like, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I drink because it's my choice. And so when at the end of the day, I lost my kids, and that was like my biggest fear, and even my kid try to do it for my kids, I couldn't stop. I realized, no, I'm not drinking. This is not a choice anymore. Now I'm drinking because I have to. So it really sucked to realize that no, yeah, I couldn't just I didn't drink because I wanted to anymore. Now I was using and drinking because I had to. So beautiful. Okay, we are actually, if you heard that last alarm, we're on our last segment, my favorite.
Wow.
Live Facebook memes. So to wrap it up though, if you were listening, some of the key things I would definitely point out is go listen to that clip. And I love this new place. I'm gonna make sure to post, if you can we'll post about what is the place called again? It's newer, right?
Yeah, it's just opened last January, so not even a year. There's been only about 4 graduates so far. It's called the Twin City Wellness Center and Recovery Gym.
Fantastic. Okay. Oh, one thing I wanted to point out. So the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule is you have to count backwards. You have to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. She said if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can keep going. Hey, you did it! Yes, that's a really good point. Plus, I try to follow like directions. Yeah, it just makes sense. So okay, so now we're gonna go. So I can't see any comments. So especially now that I'm gonna flash these wonderful memes to everybody. So if you have your phone, you want to whip that out. I'm gonna flash these to you guys, so you'll be able to see them with us. But I won't be able to see comments till after. But we will check in one more time. So hold on, I got sound effects. This is my daughter actually helped me find these cool ones, so hopefully they properly play when I want them to. They're free. So they like to get into ads or whatnot. Okay, now just get into the main thing. I don't want to hit that. Oh, see, it wants to take me to these stupid ads. No. Okay, so this is live Facebook memes. So Katie, I got about 8 or 9 of them. Trust me, that's that. I used to have like 14 or 15. I was really enjoying
I am
it.
not afraid of 8 or 9 memes.
Okay, so let me not play that ad. But you're just like on Facebook. Like if you were to, look at these on Facebook, I want you to give me your reaction. It can be honest. I've had people that are like, well, I would skip right on over that. Stupid. So okay, here we go. Gotta do the horn. All right, here we go. So if you don't mind, Katie, go ahead, describe the picture, and then go ahead and read what we got there.
We have a picture of Cookie Monster in bed, and the other person is saying, "So, what do you want to do for fun?" And it's me, Cookie Monster in bed. This is 100% accurate. That's me.
I was just talking about that.
I just washed my sheets yesterday. I'm like, I'm not gonna do this again. I'm not gonna sleep in crumbs anymore.
Oh my god! And see, that's terrible because my son and I were eating chips in bed last night. He's sick. He likes to take all the Pringles and eat like 3 of them. And I'm like, honey, no, you need to. I'm so lazy. Like, honey, here, just make sure you do one at a time. He's like, Mom, well, just go get me a plate. I'm like, that sounds like a good idea, honey, but I'm not. So just one chip at a time.
Yeah, hashtag relatable.
Right? Okay. So that felt loud. Okay, next one. This is just words.
Okay, me not talking, fuck, I'm being weird. Me talking, fuck, I'm being weird.
This is me. How do you feel?
Yes,
How
me
about
too. Absolutely. Embrace the weird, loud, silent, whatever. I don't know. I like. There's a meme that I love that I've been going through my old memes on my old page and saving them and like reposting them. And
Yes!
one that I got in my little archive that I want to use is, if I don't say weird things,
Yes! Because it's just you. It's gotta be authentic.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And this is just now I finally don't give a shit what people think. So that's why I just more like to hang out with people in recovery, because you know what? We're all weird, but we get it.
Yeah.
Okay, meme number 3, Katie.
All right.
Who's
So,
that? Doesn't
Samuel
matter.
L. Jackson is standing there looking at his phone.
What does it say at the top?
It says, Facebook should show mutual blocks instead of mutual friends. Nothing brings people together like I hate that motherfucker too. Oh, this is a big character defect of mine.
Is it? Oh my
yes,
goodness,
gossiping, talking shit, bonding over other people's downfalls for sure.
Okay. Well, and you know what though? Here's the thing. Okay, so yeah, so it says Facebook should show mutual blocks instead of mutual friends. Nothing brings people together like, and you gotta say in the Samuel Jackson voice.
No,
I hate that motherfucker too. I actually liked this because there's a lot of people that I don't even realize are not necessarily the best people, but they're on Facebook a lot, and I would love for them to pop up with that little flag, like, "Hey, Katie, just block this person." Then I could be like, "Ooh, Katie, why is this person?" Because for me, if you're on block status, there's a really big reason I don't even want you involved in my life. Like it's like a red flag. Like this might be a person that is creeping, creeping on those DMs, right? And I don't even know about it. Okay, read number 4. Do you know who that guy is?
Yes, it's Zach Galifianakis.
He's got a cute little hairdo.
He's got pigtails going. It says, when you try something new and feel cute until your damn kids start making fun of you. And it's him looking at the kids probably going, bitches.
Bitches? Aww. K.I.S.S. I see some cute hairdo. And actually last night I got out of the shower, so I like braided my hair. It was like all wavy when I took it out this morning. And then my roommate's little girl comes up and she's like, "Oh, I like your hair, but I hadn't even done taking it out yet." I'm like, "Oh, it's not even done yet." And so when I took it out, I was like, "Oh shit, I should have left it in."
My kids, whenever I take selfies and I'm trying to do angles and they just want to cringe. So, I mean, I'll say that too. They'll be like, "Oh my God, Mom, cringe." And I'm like,
Yes.
"What? I'm checking my angles."
Yes.
They're on the Snapchat. They just take pictures of like their chins or their forehead. Like they don't care what they looks like. You know what I mean? But
they do it all the time. They're pros.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, they totally killed my confidence. So like, look at me, the hoodie, sweatpants. That's where I'm at. I try to be cute. My kids just kill my vibe. Okay, just
When you get reactive, get curious. You have a wound that is asking to be healed. That's good. And I seen another one similar to that recently as well. Listen to your pain instead of pushing it down. Listen to it and listen to what it's trying to tell you.
Yes.
And heal from that and learn from that, because that could end up being your biggest strength, I think.
Oh, I love that. Yes. And someone said, look at emotions as like flags. It's like your body is giving you these emotions for a reason. They're like a warning sign, like, why am I having these emotions? So I like that. And yes, definitely if I get really upset or really defensive, so maybe at the moment I might walk away. But later I need to process, like, why am I taking this so personally? Okay, next meme. Oh, describe that picture. It's a purse, Katie. That's what I was like. Oh, that's a cute purse, a little pink inner lining.
It says apparently 99% of the men have a hard time locating the zipper. And it looks like a vagina from the vagina monologues. The zipper is clearly supposed to be
the G spot.
Yeah, a nice shaped clitoris, and
it's right there.
I have no problem helping a man to find the zipper.
Guide him in the right direction. It's helpful. I wouldn't know. It's been a while. But if a guy I'm interested in dating, like, it's this meme and we can talk about it, he's potential. It's good potential there. Next meme. Oh, I think this one's more deeper.
Deeper with the sheeper. Okay. The sheep spend their whole lives fearing the wolf, only to be eaten by the shepherd. Once you understand this statement, the game changes and you start to understand politics.
So read that top part again.
The sheep spend their whole lives fearing the wolf, only to be eaten by the shepherd.
What do you think of that one?
I think I have to think about it for a second.
Right? And that hit me hard because, like, I considered, okay, I'm such a hater on normies, but I'm not really. But like a lot of normies, the Karens and the Kyles of the world and the sheep, right? They just do what they're told and they do all whatever the government tells them, really, because they're scared of, like, the laws and not following the rules and not having this perfect suburb house and the suburb life. But at the end of the day, who's the shepherd? Who's really the one that's gonna, like, swoop up and, like, rain on your parade? And for me, that's like myself, my higher power. Like, I don't do that. See, I can't, like, in a sense, like, I can't
really
even
kind of messing with me a little bit.
Right.
I mean,
because it's all outside forces. Like, you're so worried about what's outside of you, but the outside possible enemies, the possible things you could be doing wrong. But at the end of the day, who do you have to answer to? Right? So
it's like I'm feeling it, but I can't explain it.
Yes, and take a minute. I still can't even. I've been through this one a couple times. Okay, next one. Oh, really hard to see.
Oh, I got my bifocals on. As I look back on my life, I realized that every time I thought I was being rejected from something good, I was actually being redirected into something better.
Yeah.
I really like that. That's been another thing that's been on my mind lately. Rejection is a form of redirection, definitely. And I have a huge fear of rejection. But looking back, every time I was rejected, something good did come out of it. And I feel like, there's so many different seasons in life, and there's this Ferris wheel that we go round and round, and there's the good, the bad. And honestly, rejection is like so low on the totem pole of bad things that could happen.
True. Oh my God. Well, shout out to my friend Ashley. She said this to me. So I don't remember how long ago it was. I used to go to Candlelight Saturday night. And I was like, man, I feel so rejected. Like, he said that everything was my fault and this didn't work because I wasn't doing this enough or I wasn't fulfilling this enough. And she said this pretty much. She probably said it even better than the way they put it, but she's like, girl, your higher power rejected, you feel like you're rejected, but your higher power just redirected your ass away from him. So, and I didn't see it then. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, 100% right. This person we were not healthy together. Good point. Okay, 2 more. Oh, again, just words. Mark Twain.
Mark Twain said, "I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened."
Mm.
I am not a worrier, thank goodness. My mother does all the worrying for the family. And I feel like, she, I can witness it bringing more problems into her life when she worries more.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that. People with money problems are always worried about money. Um,
Mhm.
I make money and I spend money and that's it. You know what I mean? I've never been much of a worrier, and recently going through having all these different mental health diagnoses and being told I have anxiety and stuff like that. My anxiety does not come out in worrying.
Mm.
It comes out or nervousness. It comes out in other ways. I do have some anxiety, but I think worrying is a complete waste of time.
Yes.
It's a lack of trust in your higher power. It's never going to change the outcome of anything.
Right.
So, and my daughter is also a huge worrier, but she just moved to Yosemite National Park.
Oh, wow.
She's cleaning a hotel in the park and
Cool.
lives there now.
That is so awesome.
My hope for her is that it will change some of that
Yeah.
anxiety and that worry that she has, because I gotta tell her so many times that no matter what, everything's gonna be okay.
Yes.
Well,
and I've totally changed my brain that I too just live in the moments and don't think too far ahead. And there's been many times when I'm having conversations with some of my roommates. Okay, we won't say my roommates. Let's say just friends. Okay, yeah. And I'm like, hey, so this is what's this is what's happening, and I see just in their face of worry. But what if this happens? And what if you go there and then I'm like, no, let's just cross that bridge when we get there. But I see the fear and the worry, and I'm like, I got this, or you got this. Like, that's like the worst case scenario, and that's probably not even gonna happen. Why would you even bring that up? Like, why are you even in this conversation? Now I'm worrying. No, just kidding. But I almost get this look of why aren't you worried? Why? Well, because there's nothing that I could do at this moment. I'm just giving you a heads up so you're not shocked if it does happen.
and not to say I don't make up complete fake scenarios up in my head, because I do. They're just not worrisome ones.
Right. It's kind of fun to do it, actually.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And actually, I could make myself laugh thinking about, well, what if I'm looking all cute, I wear this, and I fall flat on my face? I better make sure I'm wearing
Again,
underwear.
low on the totem pole of the worst
Yes.
things that could happen.
Yes. Okay. Final meme.
Oh, yeah. Never apologize for burning too brightly or collapsing into yourself every night. That's how galaxies are made. That is a very beautiful quote by Tyler Kent White.
You know what? Maybe you know why why I picked this one.
Tell me, Bridget, why'd you
Makes
poke
me
it?
think of you.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love
Seriously.
it. That is so sweet. Yeah, that makes me think of me too.
Yes, it's 100% you.
Oh,
And that's that's the thing is just where I'm at right now, especially on this female whatever. I'm just it's not, what is it called? I'm not a feminist or anything like that, but just in the recovery community. Well, it was Crystal who started the whole you're where you're at right now, right?
Mhm.
Like, I feel like especially where I was at, a decade ago in the BDs, it was mostly males sharing and talking, and I felt a lot of times if I did speak up, um, I didn't feel I kind of got talked over or cut off. Actually, that's why I started Bad Moms, because we were cut off. Some moms were sharing some shit, and I'm like, that's it, I'm done with this. But just getting that support from other females and giving support to other females, we got to rise up and give each other that empowerment. Like when I went to see you speak, and it was all women, it was so beautiful, Katie. So that inspired me. You sharing your story in that moment inspired me. I need to step up my game. I need to stop. I was doing sharing it treatment centers, whatever. But that's my people's. That's easy now. It was easy. You inspired me to start to get up on a higher stage, I would say, and speak to not just my peers. And actually thinking about it, Tuesday, guess what? I just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 committed to.
What's that?
I'm going to be speaking with Thrive, Thrive is the family support for people that are family members of us in recovery. I'm going to share my story with them, which I am a dual member. Like I did Al-Anon for a little bit. I just couldn't connect with that train. But Pam, who's the she just came on our show on the Rise Up Hour. Oh my God, my heart started. That's been a long time since that's happened. But just via message, she's like, "Hey, would you mind coming on Tuesday? It's virtual." My heart's going boop boop boop. Yes, shit. But I'm excited.
You know how I love to be called an inspiration bridge.
Yes. And actually, I think it just popped up on my memories, the pictures. And so you, Katie, I'm saying this recorded, have been an inspiration, especially as a female, to step up and talk. And if I get cut off, guess what? I'm going to keep talking, finishing my sentence. Males. Okay. Any final thoughts?
I guess I just, I'm really excited for this next chapter. Everything happens for a reason, and I was going to school in hopes to like be a pastor and open a church, and now I don't even know where my faith lies.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yes.
And that's a beautiful thing about faith is it's never set in stone, and you can pick up all the pieces you want from every different corner of every different religion and every different faith and make it your own. And
yes.
And so that's what I'm working on. And also balance is a huge part of my recovery, working on balance. I feel like I do have balance than I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And when I felt like I reached it last week, I thought I was going to crawl out of my skin.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Turns out I needed some rest.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I got some rest. And I just want to thank you for having me on here.
I've been trying to get you on for a minute.
I know, and I think the last time you asked me, I was like, I do not want to send the wrong message out.
I'm like, I don't care, girl. Get on, because you got it, because it's honesty, it's truth, it's authentic, and we're all in it together.
Amen.
So, okay. Well, I am gonna share before we just check see if there's any more comments. One final thing. So, I started this new. I think you know her, Ange. As a monthly, she's my co-host. She'll be coming on monthly. This is just a final reminder. She'll be coming back on. We're talking about risky relationships. I'm excited to say it's not next week or the week after. It's the week after that. But the next edition is going to be about what was it? Oh, rebounding. Rebounding, and not only being a rebounder, but the reboundee. You might not catch that, or you just all rebounded together. Rebounds. So, would you read this? This is start with me on the left there. What did I say in that little thing? I see.
And Mother Rescue.
Another rescue.
Another rescue, and she says, "Ain't he cute? Pitbull and lab mix." No, I mean the guy you brought.
And she says,
"Oh, ha, good one."
Oh, good one.
Sorry, that is very small print.
Sorry, yes, it is. We got the little screen here. Okay, go into the comments. All right, well, thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you, Katie. Yeah, I've been wanted to like connect. I might have to go check out this gym. Do they have like an open?
No,
it's
that's
private.
What she wanted originally to do and ended up having to open a treatment center. But
to get there.
Yeah, but
you could probably teach me some things though.
Yeah, we can go to the regular gym together. I have membership elsewhere too.
Because I don't work out. So I don't even know.
Work out.
I do stretch, sort of. I get my workouts going up and down stairs.
You don't have to explain yourself.
Okay. Give me on the trick, Katie. I really need to. But sleep I've been better at. But yeah, you're right. Balance,
Yeah,
okay.
Amen.
Well, everybody have a great rest of your week, and I will catch you next week. And I always almost want to quit. I have inspirational music here that we play. It's called Returning Home. Bye, everybody.